We'll now hear House Bill 64, Representative Stagni.
I don't know how your committee works. It's my first time this session being here. Do you read it in first?
Mr. Gonzalez, would you read in the instrument, please? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Members, House Bill 64 by Representative Stagni prohibits the retail sale of nitrous oxide.
Representative Stagni, on your bill.
Thank you, Madam Chairman and members of the committee. This is actually, my co-author is your chairman. This was brought to us by two different people, but about an epidemic that has gone underground for far too long, and it's nitrous gas. Its addiction and complications, people call it a laughing gas, but it's no laughing matter. It's a growing public health and safety issue, what leads to devastating consequences for our citizens, their families, and our public health system. Under a loophole in the current law, they sell this nitrous oxide gas supposedly to make whipped cream. Now you can see the canister that's here before you. That would be over 22,000 servings of whipped cream if that's really what they wanted to do. But that's not what they're doing. They're hooking our people on drugs. They're using it as a drug. The manufacturer and the retailer are selling it as a drug. And do we really think party goers and festival people have some odd predilection for nitrous oxide, for whipping cream? They do not. The unsuspecting public is becoming addicted to this very, very quickly. And the growing science, and I'm hopeful one of the two doctors that was going to testify will talk about the neurological devastation that is caused by the addiction this has. So in this bill, we're trying to ban the retail sale by the retailer. We want to go after the manufacturer. We're upping the fines. We're offering drug court as well. So I know we have an amendment, and I guess we need to put that in proper posture. And I think, Madam Chairwoman, you had an additional amendment as well.
I do. Thank you, Representative Stagni. It is that very health hazard and devastating consequences that causes me to offer the amendment. I will be offering, Mr. Gonzalez, if you read the first amendment. We have two.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairwoman. So members, this first set, it's a set of 4 amendments. It's set number 1045. It's been passed out. It's available online. And here's what it's doing. Amendment 1 is making technical changes. Amendment 2 is providing that the possession, use, or sale of nitrous oxide for automotive purposes is non-unlawful use of nitrous oxide. Amendment 3 is doing 2 things. It's adding that production or manufacture of any substance specified in this section, Revised Statute 40:989, shall constitute a violation of the section, the production or manufacture. It's also going to expand the list of prohibited actors to include any entity, business, or corporation. And Amendment 4 now is doing 3 things. It permits the Louisiana Office of Alcohol and Tobacco Control, known as ATC, to conduct any investigation as necessary to regulate and enforce the provisions of this section. In addition, it clarifies that a law enforcement agency of the state or its political subdivisions with appropriate jurisdiction is not prohibited from enforcing the provisions of this section. Finally, it's requiring ATC to promulgate rules and regulations in accordance with the Administrative Procedure Act to provide for regulation and enforcement of this section, and that's what this amendment set is doing.
Thank you. Representative Stagni, do you have any comments on the amendments, or do we have any objections?
No, other than we're bringing in even another law enforcement agency, the ATC, and we've spoken to Ernest Leger, and he's looking forward to helping us get rid of this problem.
Thank you. Any objections to the amendments? Thank you. The amendments passed. Mr. Gonzalez, do we have another amendment?
Yes, ma'am, we do. This amendment set is 1 page. It is set 1528. It's public, available online. And so what it's doing, it's going into the penalty provision, and it's just clarifying that the term of imprisonment is going to be with or without hard labor, which would make this offense a relative felony.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Do we have?
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman Hammer. That's an important message to send to those who want to hurt our citizens. So I appreciate that amendment.
And it is, and I appreciate that, and it is those, the very devastating consequences of an action that I believe is causing many individuals who are unsuspecting. Quite honestly, I knew nothing about this before I was approached by our councilman, Dino Bonanno, who is present here today, and I believe will testify. And I believe it's such a serious situation, and I think the members will hear that from the testimony we have available today. And I thought that was the right thing to do, is to increase that penalty.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any objections to the amendment? That amendment passes. Mr. Stagni, did we have anybody that you had
I'm going
to
to hold
present?
for my close and let anyone who would like to speak come up and speak, if that's okay, Madam Chairwoman.
Absolutely. We have 4 cards present in support, 3 of whom wish to speak. And we have Samantha McCann, Councilman Dino Bonanno, and Greg Combell. If y'all would each take the table. Miss McCann,
Hi.
good morning.
Good morning.
If you would state your name for the record.
My name is Samantha McCann, and I live in Kenner. Is it okay if I go last?
Sure.
Okay.
Who wants to go first?
I will.
Mr. Combell?
Yes.
If you would state your name and address for the record.
My name is Greg Campbell. I live in Metairie, Louisiana, 1704 Stanford Avenue.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
My name is Greg Campbell. I would like everybody to meet my daughter, Jenna Campbell. Jenna fell victim to an addiction from a substance that requires a license to administer. Dentists have to jump through all kind of regulations. They have to abide by to administer nitrous oxide. It's usually 70% nitrous oxide, 30% nitrous oxide to 70% oxygen for most dental procedures. Most people think of a whippet as a little CO2 sized cartridge that can fit in your pocket. Used to make whipped cream, flurries up heavy cream with a dispenser. Not anymore. These manufacturers really stepped up their game. Industrial sized canisters like that one is on the shelves at gas stations and smoke shops all around Louisiana, and even can be purchased on Amazon, costing about $70 per tank. Full of brilliant colors and many flavors, such as strawberry, watermelon, just to name a few. These tanks come with a plastic tip to administer the gas. The tip screws into the tank's valve stem that is especially designed for a pressure regulator. Everybody in this room has family, sons, daughters, grandsons, granddaughters that are getting out in the world with a new responsibility, can stop and fill their cars up with gas and pick up a can of 100% nitrous at the gas station without even going out of their way. Once a little innocent girl, my daughter, stopped to fuel up her car while going to work as a newly licensed esthetician. She saw a canister while paying for gas, remembered seeing people doing it at a party, having fun, laughing, thought there was no harm in it, so she picked one up. To make a long story short, $8,000 later, paralyzed, paralyzed from the waist down, with no bowel control, didn't want anybody to help her, her family, or friends, just wanted to stay in a stranger's apartment and use all day long. This was a true addiction. Finally rescued by a wellness check from Jefferson Parish Police Department, her blood was so deprived of oxygen it was blue. That was a direct quote from the EMS. She was rushed to the emergency room where they did multiple tests, and she was treated as if she had a spinal injury. The doctors didn't even know how to treat nitrous oxide poisoning, which was her final diagnosis.
That's 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr.
I have one
Campbell.
more minute.
I can't extend it. If you told me you had one more line to read, but I will throw a question to you and you'll be able to finish.
Thank you. I'm not a public speaker. I'm terrible at this, I know.
No, you're not, and it's a very difficult situation, and we appreciate your being here. Do we have any questions of Mr. Campbell? Mr. Campbell, I would ask you, I would thank you for being here, and I know this is very difficult testimony for you and your daughter, and if you would go ahead and tell me a little bit more about her experience and your experience.
It's been hell for 2 years. This is a serious problem. She's finally walking again. She was paralyzed from the waist down. She's still lacking motor skills, moving her ankle, moving her foot up and down at the ankle. And physical therapists are optimistic that she will walk again, but it may take a few years.
How long has she been treating Ms. Campbell?
She's been at physical therapy roughly about 8 months now.
Thank you, and thank you for being here. Councilman Bonanno, welcome.
Good morning. Good morning, Madam Chairwoman and honorable members of the committee. First of all, before I speak, I want to apologize. I violated the decorum when I first got here and walked in front of a speaker, and I didn't do that on purpose. It was meant with respect. In Jefferson Parish, when you turn in your speaker card, you turn it into the head table. So I apologize for that. I'm here on behalf of the citizens of Jefferson Parish today, not only as a council member, but as a sergeant in the Kenner Police Department. I began to learn about this drug a couple years ago. Mr. Campbell is one of my constituents. And for the last couple of years, I've spoken to him several times about the disastrous effects of this drug on our youth. And it not only happens here in Jefferson Parish, but throughout the state of Louisiana. As a policeman, I can tell you, quite often, people who mean to do harm to our children come up with ways to skirt our laws, and this is one of them. And unfortunately, we have to come up here and address them one by one. But I implore you to vote for this bill today to protect our youth. It's getting into the high schools now. Somebody will go to a gas station, it's so simple, and buy it and try it. Then, of course, as a high schooler, they're going to share the effects with their friends, and they all think it's fun. But this is a very addictive drug, and it really has affected a lot of our citizens in a very impactful and adverse way. So I implore you to vote for this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Bonanno. Thank you for being here, and thank you for bringing it to my attention. Do we have any questions? Representative Cox wishing to speak.
That canister there, where is that available at? That's not a,
Gas stations, Amazon.
that size,
And it
Vape-
actually
vape
comes with a
stores.
mouthpiece.
that big? How many doses, if that's the right word to describe?
Thousands.
Okay, because
They
I
sell a little
imagine
mouthpiece that goes
something
with it.
small like a
They do sell
big
those.
They
lighter.
do.
Okay,
They
but
do.
you could,
You see how colorful the can is? They make it
Right.
very attractive to kids. Just like
And they're flavored.
but that's
Different
$70
flavors.
and thousands.
Yep.
Okay.
And children don't need to be carded for it. Any age can walk in and buy this.
it's legal.
It's
over the counter.
unregulated. My 7-year-old can walk in. And if he has the money, they have nothing to say to stop him.
Representative Cox, were you finished with the questioning? Oh, yes, ma'am. Thank you. Representative Knox wishing to speak.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you all for being here today. To be quite honest, I had no knowledge of the severity of this product. I would see them in gas stations in passing and just thought of it as vaping or something of that effect. I had no indication that this was so addictive. You mentioned, ma'am, that there is currently no regulation on this product.
None that's being enforced. Nothing that is substantial to even curb anything. And yes, a 7-year-old can walk in and buy, if they have the money. There is nothing the gas station attendant can stop and say, hey, wait, you're only 8 years old, because this is marketed as whipped cream.
So you don't have to be of a certain
None.
age to get
None.
this product.
No.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Knox. Ms. McCann, I know you have been answering questions, but you had asked to be able to speak last if you want to go ahead.
Yes. Hi. My name is Samantha McCann, and I live in Kenner. Greg, who you heard speak earlier, is a friend of my husband's, and I'm here to speak on behalf of his daughter, Jenna. He's already pointed out Jenna here. Jenna is a beautiful 24-year-old young lady from a great family. She's intelligent, she's kind, and she's still struggling with the debilitating effects of nitrous oxide. This stuff is poison. It's an invisible, insidious thief. It steals dreams, ambition, hope, and life, and it is completely unregulated. An 8-year-old, like I said, can walk into almost any gas station and purchase it. Dental offices have to be licensed and trained on its use, and they even mix it with oxygen. This is 100%. It is not even mixed. So what a licensed professional has to get trained on is even less percentage than this. And this is completely unregulated, whereas dental offices have to be registered and licensed. And they have to go through that licensure over and over again in order to have the canisters. Parents are sending their kids off to college with warnings, don't do drugs and be safe, but dealers are telling these kids it's just a hit of laughing gas. It's undetectable on drug tests, which makes it even more appealing. Parents don't even know this is a thing to talk to their children about. You can walk onto any college campus on a Sunday morning and you will see canisters, the little ones like you were talking about, littered all over the campus. The high is quick and it's short-lived. It causes the user to have to repeatedly use in order to maintain that high, and that repeated use only increases the risks of death or not being able to walk, not being able to talk, and never recovering. We're asking you to help protect our children. By voting yes to this bill, you'll do just that, and I can't think of a single negative that would come of it. You would only be doing good. And I'd like to take a minute to thank Rob Krieger from Fox 8 for shining light on this and continuing to shine light on this, because this is an epidemic that is going under the radar. And parents are completely unaware that their children are becoming victims of this horrible thing, that they can just walk to the gas station. Mom, I'm walking to the gas station. Done. So I want to thank Rob Krieger for bringing light on it. I want to thank Joe Stagni and Debbie Villio.
Thank you, Ms. McCann. Representative Adams wishing to speak.
Chairman, tell me, I know I go to the grocery store, I own a grocery store. I know what a Coca-Cola is. I know what candy bars are. What is this for? I mean, what's the purpose of this? The nitrous?
The purpose that they say it's for, or the purpose that's being used for?
What do they say it's for?
You know when you buy whipped cream and you have to shake it to get the air to make, that's nitrous oxide. Whereas if you hold the canister up and you just spray it, the gas comes out, it's pressurized. That's nitrous oxide. But even in canisters that you can buy in the milk section for whipped cream is not 100% nitrous oxide. This is.
Yeah. Thank you. I just,
Yeah,
mind-boggling.
and they advertise it as to make whipped cream. It's completely false advertising.
Yes.
There's not even anything to make whipped cream with. It's even got a mouthpiece. It comes with the mouthpiece. But hey, this is only for whipped cream.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Rep. Adams. Representative Knox wishing to speak.
Madam Chair, I have a letter from a constituent from New Orleans, Dr. Griggs. He's a health educator on Fox 8 in the local market, and he works in the community around these type issues. At the appropriate time, I would like to read that letter from him, if it's okay.
I would invite you to do that now, Representative Knox.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Esteemed members of the Louisiana Legislature, I am writing to address you with a plea born from the depths of my concern for our community's well-being, particularly regarding the distressing rise in nitrous oxide abuse within our beloved state of Louisiana. As a community doctor and community health educator and advocate, I am deeply committed to healing and compassion. As such, I implore you to join me in confronting this pressing public health issue with both empathy and urgency. Nitrous oxide, more commonly known as laughing gas, benignly used in the dentist's office or spoofed in the cartoons of my childhood, is clearly no laughing matter. Nitrous oxide abuse transcends demographics, impacting individuals irrespective of race or income. Although predominantly seen among young adults aged 18 to 25, with approximately 6 to 10% of reported recent use, it affects diverse age groups and socioeconomic strata. Obtainable legally for medical or industrial needs, its misuse commonly involves procuring it from whipped cream changers, automotive supply stores, or inadequately relegated online vendors. In my decades of experience in caring for our community, I have borne witness to the devastating toll that nitrous oxide abuse exacts on individuals and families. It is a heavy heart that I come to you, recognizing the urgent need for decisive action to prevent further suffering or loss. The allure of nitrous oxide, often perceived as harmless, masks its insidious nature. Through its interaction with opiate receptors in the brain, nitrous oxide can ensnare its users in a cycle of dependence akin to that of opiates. The revelation underscores the urgency of our collective response to provide support and intervention for those struggling with addiction. Furthermore, the depletion of vitamin B12 resulting from the nitrous oxide abuse exacts a grave toll on neurological health, manifesting in symptoms that range from numbness and tingling to profound weakness. It is a silent agony that erodes not only physical well-being, but also the very fabric of hope and resilience. In light of these challenges, I humbly propose a multifaceted approach to address the nitrous oxide abuse.
Thank you, Representative Knox.
At the appropriate time, Madam Chair, I'd like to move for favorable passage.
Thank you. We have 3 more in favor wishing to speak. Thank you, Mr. Banana.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McCann.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mrs. Stagni.
We have Tom Bromley, Virginia Bromley, and Ashley Broha. And I will defer to each of you to decide who wants to go first.
I'll go first. Hi, my name is Ashley Broha, and I'm here to testify and bring awareness on behalf of this bill. On September 25th, 2023, my life changed forever. My fiance, my best friend, a son, an uncle, and friend to so many passed away, being able to order a nitrous tank online with just a click of a button. Like so many others, not being knowledgeable of the side effects and the dangers of nitrous oxide, it took his life, but not just his, a part of mine, his family, and so many others that he had touched. Being in the dental field myself, I was in such disbelief that he was able to go online and order this without having a license. Like myself and others in the medical field that have to get continuing education courses to maintain a license to be able to administer this type of drug. We need to take a stance in making this product have stricter rules and regulations and penalties for the everyday person. It starts within the stores and goes to the variety of websites that are directed for one thing, but are easily available to order and get delivered to your home, hotel, or Airbnb in use of using it for other things. I am here to say please help save others so that no more stories like mine are having to be said. On March 25th, it will mark the most 6 painful months of my new surreal life. Getting this passed will at least make one positive thing that has happened since September 25th, 2023.
Thank you for being here. We've got you. I don't see any questions in the crew. Cue Mr. Bromley or Ms. Bromley.
I'll go next. First, I'd like to thank Representative Stagni and others supporters for sponsoring this legislation to strengthen the law, increase the penalties, and limit access to nitrous oxide. The goal is hopefully to prevent another family like ours from suffering a devastating loss of a beloved son, like we did on September 25th of 23. A little bit about our son. A lot of people think this is just youth. My son was 39 years old. I'm from Baton Rouge. We're from Baton Rouge. I graduated from U High, attended Ole Miss, and graduated with a degree in finance. He owned and operated a battery franchise business for 13 years. Enjoyed hunting, fishing, LSU sports, travel, and a wide circle of friends. He was engaged for the first time to the love of his life, Ashley Broha, who is here today, and was planning to be married in January of this year. He never had any legal issues, no drug problems, was a clean young man. From what we gather, he took nitrous oxide for dental procedures originally, liked it, and apparently continued this substance at occasional concerts and probably other venues for all we know. We don't know. His fondness for this gas led him to order a tank larger than that for food service purposes from an online retailer out of New York. And it was specifically supposed to be for restaurant and food service purposes. My son owned a battery business. He had no subterfuge in terms of pretending to be a food service. I have the box that it came shipped in. It was shipped to his name, to the address of his battery store on College Drive. It arrived at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. He was dead at 4. He left his business, went home, just put a mask on. I think, he didn't like to read. He was very smart. He figured he could figure things out. He didn't understand the lethality of it, how lethal it was. And he put the mask on, and I think it just took him out so fast that after he passed out, he asphyxiated because there was no oxygen, and he died. And Ashley found him. So, this should not be allowed to get in hands of people that don't know what they're doing. It's got to be regulated. So, yes, he exercised very poor judgment. I understand that, but I appreciate your support, and I appreciate your support in this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bromley, and I am so sorry for your loss, and thank you for being here today. Representative Ventrella.
Madam Chairwoman, I just wanted to tell you, as the sister of somebody, 3 years ago on the 17th, I lost my brother unexpectedly to unforeseen circumstances, and I wanted to tell all y'all to be so proud that y'all are here fighting for your son. I watched it destroy my family and my father, who has never been the same, and I hope that one day that I'm as brave as y'all to do something for his legacy. So I just wanted to let y'all know that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Ventrella. Ms. Bromley.
As parents, the sudden, unexpected, and shocking loss of our son is the darkest day of our lives. His family and loved ones are heartbroken and devastated. To say he was a social being is an understatement. His welcoming, kind, fun, and sincere personality drew people to him. Always up for an adventure, he was positive, and he viewed the world through rose-colored glasses. No one will ever forget his contagious smile. There are no words for how much he is missed. He was pure joy. Because of this proposed bill, I felt the need to do some research. The lack of control and regulation of nitrous oxide in our state is shocking. Although nitrous oxide is widely viewed as harmless, it is a very dangerous drug when used as an inhalant in recreational use. It can cause serious health issues and as well as death. Had our son not been able to get a tank of nitrous oxide meant for commercial use online or anywhere else, he would be alive today. It is important that laws with teeth be put in place so no other soul is lost and not another family need go on this painful journey. It is my wish that our precious child be remembered for how he lived.
Thank you, Ms. Bromley, for your testimony. I didn't know your son, and I didn't know Ashley, but I apparently know a lot of people who know both of you across the state. So he is truly, obviously, was a joy and precious, and I am so sorry for your loss. And I thank y'all for being here and being so brave, and we will honor him. I'm certain of that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We have many cards present in support but not wishing to speak. Destiny Hamilton, Mike Granatza, Dixon McMakin, Hillary Sheffy, Aaron Nugent, Ruth Lawson, Ryan Haney, Elena Haney, Jason Broha, Barbara Bavolis. Say that again. Thank you. Mary McGee, Ryan Templett, and Alton Ashe. And I believe Representative Knox, have you already moved favorably as amended? Is that correct? Representative Knox has moved favorably as amended. Do we have any objections? I'm sorry. Representative Stagni, close on your bill.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. I'll try to be brief. First, I want to thank all the witnesses and their courage and strength, sharing their story. It will have an impact. Every now and again, we have an opportunity to come together as one body. No partisan politics, put our people first. This is something that is so tragic to our people, so addictive, so quickly addictive, that we need to go after the retailers and the manufacturers. And I hope our brothers and sisters in the Sheriff's Office and our local law enforcement and ATC will see this testimony, because once you start to look, it's everywhere around us. A canister like that is within a block of where we live in the greater New Orleans area. You'll go to a concert or a festival, and you'll see somebody with a balloon giving kids, young people, getting them to inhale the nitrous oxide. The problem is, once they start doing it, it operates on your opioid receptors, and it's so highly addictive that you want more and more and more. And through no fault of their own, they become hooked on something that's going to hurt them and devastate their families. The people doing it, they're not looking to make whipped cream. That's designed for somebody to come buy it for other purposes. Let's join together and stamp this out in our state and make this one of the strongest laws that they've seen against nitrous oxide. and I'd ask for your favorable support.
Thank you, Rep. Stagni, and thank you for allowing me the privilege to share this bill with you. Representative Fontenot has asked to say a couple of words, or I'm not sure if he has a question. Do you have any objection to that?
Not at all.
Rep. Fontenot.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Representative Stagni, I certainly appreciate your work on this. Just while sitting here, I took an opportunity to Google some of the things that were said. And so my point is, I think this certainly addresses an issue. But over the years, we've looked to our attorney generals, to people who manufacture these types of products and subsequently sell them in a false manner. We've seen this when we looked at things like ecstasy and the way that we portrayed it. We put it in liquid form. So I would encourage you to speak to the Attorney General as we look at unfair or these purchases. I'm looking at one right now that says it's for whipped cream, and it's a guy riding it to the moon for the greatest high for whipped cream. So I would encourage you to continue on as we look towards the people who sell and manufacture this in false content. So I appreciate your work.
I will do it.
Thank you, Rep. Fontenot. We have a motion by Representative Knox to pass the instrument favorably with amendments. Do we have any objections? The instrument passes favorably with amendments. Thank everyone for their testimony.